welcome back to another episode of Animal. And I've got the same guest back as last time because this is a deeper dive video into Trigun. I may have not mentioned it at the end of the last video, but know that we'll be diving into Trigun's ideologies and themes a little bit more into this episode, as they are really important aspects of the show in general, which I think makes it so underrated. And it kind of was overshadowed by Cowboy Bebop, which Eddie kindly mentioned in the last video. And actually, you know what? Why don't you introduce yourself again? Because I feel like if people didn't watch the last episode, they should know you again.
Hi, I'm Scotty Magister, also known as Eddie. And I have a channel where I talk about video games, movies, and I do video game machinimas, just like all sorts of nerdy stuff. And you can check out my channel below in the description of this video. But and Trigun is my favorite anime of all time, and so that's why we're doing these videos also with this collaboration.
Yeah. Do you think anything will ever top Trigun for you, like until you're like 90 years old?
I don't know.
I just had to ask.
You know what has been close though? I feel like Spy Family.
Spy Family.
I like that story. I like that setup.
We could get into that discussion another time and bring your wife onto the channel. That would be fun.
Yeah.
All right, cool. But without further ado, we're going to dive way deep into this. So grab some popcorn, sit down, and stick with us.
So, one reason why...
Wait, not with me posed like this. Okay.
I'm like, okay.
I'm going to let you roll. I'm going to let you roll.
Trigun has a lot of interesting themes about religion and ideologies, mainly with Vash and Wolfwood. The two, I feel like, kind of carry the whole series because it's like two sides of the same coin. You have not necessarily good and evil, but a sense of morality of like saving a life or killing a life.
Right.
Which is all pervasive throughout all iterations of Trigun. Yeah, the OG anime, the manga, and Trigun Stampede. That's just like the central theme of everything. So you have the irony of Vash the Stampede being this notorious gunman that everyone's trying to kill, who's rumored to have killed a vast amount of people and has like the highest number ever on like a bounty, but like he hasn't killed anyone. And that's a big thing of like the Wild West theme where like everyone's always shooting each other and stuff. But in here, it's like he's the most notorious gunman, but he hasn't killed anyone and he's actually a pacifist. He's like very staunch pacifist. Then you have Wolfwood, who is a priest who ideally should not kill, but he is more of a realist and kills people all the time.
Isn't that one of the commandments? Thou shalt not kill?
Yeah.
Right.
That's actually in a quote in the OG anime and the manga where Vash is like, whatever happened to thou shalt not kill.
Oh, I remember that scene. That was a good one.
Yeah. So, you know, there's that irony there. And, you know, there could be some social commentary there about, you know, the church and, you know, what they actually do in practice versus what they believe in. But I feel like, you know, the two ideologies clashing really propels like the themes of Trigun. And I felt like at the time that Trigun first came out, I like personally found it more interesting than like its more popular cousin Cowboy Bebop. Because like with Cowboy Bebop, it's like everyone was so into it because of like the style, you know, the characters and some stories and stuff like that. But like I felt like it didn't really have so much as a theme as like just saying, hey, life sucks.
Right.
Here's
Can
a cigarette.
I just say that for me, it was very like, I don't really get this concept. Like, people suck, life doesn't suck, but like I'm gonna keep going. And I also don't really smoke. I can't empathize with the whole cigarette thing. So like I watched like 3 episodes and I was like, why do people love this? Whereas Trigun, it was more like, oh, you know, Vash is a character that I can get behind. Also, I have a thing where, yes, I love a lot of popular anime, but I have a thing where when the main character is like so drastically different, I become really attracted to it because it's like, wow, this is a new portrayal of a main character that's not always trying to like fight some villain or fight the antagonist. It's more like he's fighting against acts that are like against his own personal beliefs and his morality, where it's kind of like it's a constant internal struggle as him as a human being, and there's like a lot of empathy there from him as a character. You know, it's very like non-traditional in terms of like the action drama that you see in a lot of like male cis characters.
Because he also has like some trauma, and that's where he gets his firm ideology of not to kill anyone, because he really liked, like, he had like a mother figure in his past with Rem,
Yes.
and she was a firm believer in, like, you know, life is sacred and stuff like that. And unfortunately his brother didn't get that message, and you know, that's the other conflict between Knives and Vash. And also it gets into like a religious metaphors. You know, obviously Wolfwood is a priest, but the way Vash acts is like more like how Jesus would literally act. Like, he's just like badass Jesus with like a gun, like, but he doesn't actually kill anyone. But there's also some
people of religious belief, please don't take offense to any of this.
But there's also some Buddhist themes where, you know, Vash is more like with the flow, and like he tries to meditate.
Donuts.
Like, yeah, he's definitely more like of a Buddhist, like, in practice.
Right.
And that actually plays into like the author himself, because the author himself has, you know, been involved with Christianity and Buddhism, and
oh really?
like, yeah. And
okay,
so
I didn't know that. I learn new things, people.
That's like intentional, like the metaphors are there intentionally. So again, with like Cowboy Bebop versus Trigun at the time, I remember a funny story actually. When I introduced my best friend to like Trigun, we kind of watched it together, and then when I introduced him to Cowboy Bebop later, like not even halfway, just like maybe 4 episodes, he's like, they don't like win. He's like, this just sucks. Like, the mood is just like.
But like, isn't that the best part about anime, when you don't have like a persistent winner? Because like, honestly, I'm very tired of the bulletproof plots. Like the plots that it's like, oh, Naruto is bulletproof and Ichigo is bulletproof, and like you can't get past any of this, and they can't lose. It's like, that's not realistic. This is why we give out participation trophies now. But anyway.
But what I like about Trigun, and I think what my friend did too, is that it still had a message at the end of the day of like, yeah, life sucks. Like, we could live in this post-apocalyptic, like, Wild West world, and like you could even make a mistake, like ruin your ideology, but you could still get back up again, and you can still continue believing in what you want to believe, even though there are people out there who consistently try to disprove it. And I really like that more.
Yeah.
Because Cowboy Bebop was just, everything sucks.
Yes, it was so like melodramatic. Yeah. You know, it went really well. It went really well with like the emo alternative rock at the time. But you know, like as an adult, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't suit me anymore. I felt like maybe it would have applied more if I was like an emo teenager going through the times, and maybe that would have been the time to watch it. But like Trigun now, especially in adulthood, I feel like it really resonates with me, because it's like all about like your personal self, your ideologies, your thought, your morality, and I feel like after like the age of 30, that's something that you're often faced with, you know, especially as you go on to like build families, so on and so forth.
Yeah. And also, even for me, like, even though I saw Trigun before Cowboy Bebop, I felt like it still resonated for me. I think because personally I grew up in like Catholic school, so I saw the parallels right away, and I was just thinking about like life and death, and I was like, could I really save anyone? Do you really have to always kill someone? Like, it made.
Do you want to save people?
Yeah.
Do you want to kill people?
No, but you know, it like made you think about these philosophical conundrums and, you know, ideologies and stuff like that. And also, like you said earlier, with Vash as a person, he shows more emotion than like your stereotypical badass.
Oh my god, just
character.
So
like he
stoic,
cries.
right?
He like admits feelings and stuff. Like, he does have trouble with like trauma, but like he still opens up about it, talks about it.
Hey, people out there who only watches anime with stoic male characters that don't cry, newsflash, you need to watch something new. It's about time, because that's toxic.
Yeah, don't be Spike, please. Going into that, growing up, you know, being more exposed to different animes, I realized, Trigun doesn't really have like
big titty.
Yeah, the booby thing. It doesn't really do the booby thing.
Yes.
Granted, in the OG, there are like moments, but like you can literally just count them on one hand. It's like, there was that one like female assassin from the Gung Ho Guns where he was like, "Oh, hi, I undid your dress." There was one scene where he goes to a hostage situation and he accidentally sees up a woman's dress.
Right.
Throughout the whole series, it's just like, I don't know, 5 moments of like
it's not
fan
really like that
servicey,
deep.
waifu kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And also there is like a romance, but it's very subtle, and I felt like it was very like adult.
Right, but
Like,
that was only in the anime itself. In the manga, there
So,
really
like,
was no hints of it.
in the manga, like all these like volumes, no romance.
See,
like,
I need that
nothing.
sometimes because I'll be watching, like, for say Bleach, because Bleach is one of my favorite anime, and the whole Ichigo Orihime thing, I don't get it. I feel like it was very forced. Same with Naruto and Hinata, and so like I really appreciated that. In Trigun, there wasn't really much of that at all.
Yeah.
It was just like, let the characters be themselves, let them interact and just be friends and grow from each other, having them in your lives and things of that nature. Like, I really appreciated that aspect. And I also appreciated, is this bad to say it, that Meryl and Millie were fully clothed?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I was thinking, like there's no like gratuitous, like, oh, something slipped and this and that.
Well, not even just
They're
something
like,
slipped, like the top is just like this, and then the dress is like this. So you know if they're bound to bend over, like you'll see their underwear, but it's just like fully cloaked coats, high neck coats to the sleeves. Like you only get to really see their hands, really.
Yeah, it's like Victorian era. Like,
yes, as much fan service as you will get. And I don't know if that's good or bad from your perspective, but I, as like an identified woman or female, I thoroughly appreciated that because it felt like I got to appreciate them as the characters themselves, and I got to appreciate their interaction with the other characters like Vash and Wolfwood without there being any sexual innuendos or feelings or romance hiding underneath.
I remember thinking, like, you know, when people talk about like their favorite waifus and stuff like that, I feel like Millie and Meryl are like, they're never talked about. And I think it's unfortunate because it's like they're not in that realm of like, you know, your typical waifus, but they're really good characters.
But Meryl
like,
Meryl can be a waifu because she's just a badass. And she like really owns it. And like if I had a wife, I'd want her to be my wife because she would take care of me.
Exactly. Or Millie too. There are people who would like Millie.
Millie's a little soft for me, but that's okay.
Yeah, I feel like they have a range. You know, it's like
absolutely.
It's like Millie's one range, and then Millie's one range, and Meryl's the other range.
Right.
Which I feel like it's good for them to have like a variety. It's not like you're focusing on one certain stereotype of
like the very same carbon copy paste woman, copy paste woman. Yeah.
So in Trigun Stampede, obviously they're gonna have Wolfwood's ideology clash with Vash. I feel like now though, since they have Livio now in the picture, because Livio was a character in the manga, I feel like they're going to strengthen that ideology conflict, because in the original anime it's like, okay, Wolfwood kills people, but you didn't really explore like why.
Oh yeah,
only
to
like
surface level.
Yeah, but in here you get to know that like, okay, he has a childhood friend. Unfortunately, that childhood friend is going to be killing people, and so now Wolfwood is thrust in the position of like, okay, I know people have to die in certain situations, but I don't want him to die.
Right.
How do I not make him die?
Him stop? Get him to stop like killing others. Because even though like he does kill people, he has like his reasons behind why he does it, you know, and he explains it at times. But like with Livio, it seems like he's just kind of on a rampage. And for Wolfwood, it's like very conflicting because he sees like his childhood friend going on a rampage, wants to stop him from hurting others, but doesn't want to hurt him either.
And that's like the inverse of what Vash goes through, where Vash doesn't want to kill anyone, but then he's often thrust into situations where he might have to. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that evolves in Trigun Stampede.
All right, so that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully you'll see us doing another collab in the future. We hope that you learned great material on Trigun as to why you should watch it, and perhaps something in the ideology rung to you that makes you really want to watch the OG anime and the new Stampede anime. But this is our ended series on Trigun Stampede. There's another episode that we've released, so please check that one out after you finish watching this one. But thank you so much for supporting us, and please support Scotty Magister, aka Eddie, on his YouTube channel. You'll find the link below. But that's gonna do it from me. Thank you so much again, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.